Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. President Trump running out of patience with Mexico, announcing he'll be slapping our southern neighbor with a 5% tariff because they haven't done enough to stop illegals from pouring into our country. The president's warning coming as this new video shows more than 1,000 migrants crossing the border illegally in the El Paso area. That's a record. Joining me now, counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. So, Kellyanne, I think this worked because immediately now the president of Mexico desperately seeking a meeting with the president of the United States. This looks like a last-ditch effort to me to help this situation. It is a crisis. How do you see it?
That's right. The president obviously has the authority to do this under the IEEPA. Essentially, he has to have an emergency, which we clearly do, and this president had the courage to call it an emergency for many months, in fact, declared a national emergency, and has talked about a crisis. The Democrats said we're calling it a manufactured crisis, but more and more of them who have now visited the border agree that it is an urgent situation. The pictures just don't lie, even for those who want to turn away and not look at them. Number two, the president has to see some type of economic impact or national security impact. Clearly, that's there as well. What about the actual cost that illegal immigration brings to this country every single year? We know it's in the billions. We know that drugs are pouring over. We know that these billion-dollar criminal enterprises are trafficking people once they get here, but most importantly, are taking money from people to make that treacherous journey northward. If you're coming from a Central American Northern Triangle country, Jesse, you might be giving a coyote thousands of dollars, all you have, to your name, and then taking a 21-day journey by foot, by and large. That's dangerous, but look, Mexico hasn't done enough, and Congress has done less than that.
Right.
Congress can
has
solve the
done
whole
nothing.
darn thing,
Exactly.
but they've done nothing, so the president has to step into the breach. Look, you slap on tariffs to change the behavior of a trading partner, and it looks like the president got their attention. But he means business, and you know it. He's been completely consistent on this issue for 4 years now.
I mean, to me, the Democrats are the ones that are causing these drops in the stock market. If they would get their act together and do something on the border, we wouldn't have these types of tariff battles. But we do, and they seem more concerned about the price of an avocado than the price of illegal immigration. And now all of a sudden, the Democrats are concerned with tax hikes on the American people.
I know.
Their entire platform is raising taxes on the American people.
Not a single one of them voted for the tax cuts, the Tax Cut and Job Act. Not a single one voted to reduce everybody's taxes when they had the opportunity, which, along with this president's deregulatory and energy independence explosion agenda, has allowed us to have these unbelievable growth numbers, low unemployment, high confidence, and 7.5 million available jobs, Jesse. People can go and pick new jobs, get better benefits if they want. But all that happened in large part because of the president's leadership on tax cuts and deregulation. We can't get a single Democrat to vote for that. So they are protesting against their own belief. And look, I think they're also using people to keep this issue alive for 2020. Why aren't they doing something in 2019? Congress can come together. It could take them 15 minutes to do 3 quick fixes to Flores, to the TVPRA, to the asylum system. We keep on saying it, and they keep on ignoring it. They're feckless. Yeah,
I would agree, and it's gonna take something incredibly horrific
like the
the border for them to even do something.
God forbid.
Hillary Clinton, she is speaking to a bunch of graduates at Hunter College. For some reason, Hunter College decided to book Crooked Hillary, and here's what she had to say. Watch this.
Our democracy feels far from secure. Instead of standing up against bigotry and white supremacy, this administration has too often worked to tear down hard-won civil rights. They've banned Muslims from entering the country. Our government is tearing children from the arms of their parents at the border and locking them in cages. Make no mistake, we are witnessing an assault on the rule of law and the foundations of our democracy. What do we do when people in positions of authority are not held accountable, when they defy requests from the Congress, when they spread misinformation online, when Facebook refused to take down a fake video of Nancy Pelosi? It wasn't even a close call. The video is sexist trash.
Well, besides the fact, Kellyanne, that everyone in the background looked completely dead, Everything she accused President Trump of, she's guilty of herself. Ripping families apart. I remember it was Elian Gonzalez being torn apart at gunpoint. Her husband, and they, for years, fought congressional subpoenas. And she wants to talk about spreading misinformation online. What do you think the dossier was?
Where does one even begin? I think in the future, somebody should distinguish her whether she's going to a graduation speech or a funeral, because that sounded like a eulogy. And she also focused on her three favorite subjects, me, myself, and I.
Right.
Who the heck wants to invite an angry, bitter, two-time presidential election loser to their graduation to be fed more liberal lies? And by the by, it presumes, does it not, that the Hunter College graduating class is a monolith of left-wing liberals about to go take on the Trump administration. Does she think there may just possibly be in there a 100? Perhaps graduates who want to hear about the future and promise and don't want to hear a political speech from somebody who lacked the kind of political connective tissue and instincts to actually become the president. But she did something else I haven't heard people cover.
What's that?
We didn't need the Mueller investigation. We didn't need the Mueller report. It turns out we wasted all that time and all that money because she reminded us why Donald Trump won the election.
That is
sure the heck
true.
wasn't because of Russia. You saw it right there on the TV. And
know.
3 years later, it's on full display. The bitterness, the anger, the lack of connection with people. But
we actually had someone booked for the show tonight. It was a parent of a Hunter College graduate who sat there and was appalled that, you know, after paying all this money and to send his daughter there, that she would get out and just go off the rails completely, and he didn't want to do it. His daughter couldn't come on because, you know, they were worried about the blowback. But it's a Trump economy that's hot right now. Those graduates are going to get out there in the job market, and there's going to be a lot of options. Let's put it that way.
And by the way, the lowest unemployment rate among African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, 67 years for women, happened under President Trump, not under the only President Clinton will ever have, or even President Obama. It happened under President Trump. So when she talks about white nationalism and supremacy, nobody even knows what she's speaking about, except she's now getting her talking points from, I guess, left-wing blogs and all. But it's the opposite of what I try to. It's the opposite of what young people need to hear, which is take defeat with grace, learn to move on, go make a difference in the world. Where is her Hillary Clinton Center for Women and Girls? Where is this? She's still talking about herself in election. And if anybody out there tonight says, Kellyanne Conway still talk about Hillary Clinton, please, I never want to think about her again, but she just won't go away.
Well,
but you can see why there are empty seats. We had you on the show
to react to it, so I guess
blame it on me. Yeah, but you see why
me.
there are empty seats when she and her husband go around on this tour. And they're
yeah, I mean, the ticket prices are
them.
going down the toilet. No one wants to go.
We just got that for free, and nobody wanted to hear it.
I know. And it's my theory, and we only have about a minute left. Here's my theory. Just say yes or no if you agree. The reason she's stayed so present the last 2 years is because she thought the insurance policy was going to work. She thought that this guy in the White House was going to get knocked out of there through impeachment or some other way, and that she was going to then run again in 2020 as the rightful heir to the White House. And that's why she's stayed in the spotlight, and that's why she's made all these excuses, because that was her plan all along, to run again in 2020. But you know what? He shot the coup down, and he's going to be there for another 2 years at least. 30 seconds left. I'd
say 6 years, and she's welcome to be the 24th Democrat running in 2020. Who cares? Add her to the heap.
Wouldn't you love Biden and Hillary together like that? You
probably are onto something. You probably have a good theory there, Jesse, and quickly for one reason. You said she stayed on for 2 years. She actually stayed on for 20.
That's true.
She stayed with him all those years thinking it's be my turn, my turn, my turn, my turn. Her turn came and she blew it. She was too much Hillary and not enough Clinton.
That is right. All right, Kellyanne Conway, there she is. Have a great weekend.
Come and see us, Jesse. It's gorgeous here.
I'll be there soon.
I think it's very clear that for many American people that I've spoken to, they don't want a lawless, king-like president. I tell the president, bring it. Because 10 million people signed a petition to impeach this president. What a precedent do we set when we don't do anything?
I think it's hard not to see the special counsel's comments this morning as anything but an impeachment referral to the Congress.
From radicals to moderates, the Mueller statement has brought Democrats of all stripes in Congress together. So how does the GOP plan to respond to this newly unified front to impeach? Here now is House Minority Whip Steve Scalise in New Orleans. Congressman, what is the leadership's response to the Democrat drumbeat that built up over the last few weeks, but you really felt it today?
Well, Laura, this has been their plan all along. They've been pushing for impeachment since the day they won the majority. Many of them couldn't hide it. Nadler was bragging about it. You saw others in their own leadership on the Democrat side saying this was what they were going to make their 2-year majority about. Frankly, this isn't what the American people elected them to do. So I think there's going to be a heavy price for Democrats who go down this path. But they've been planning this witch hunt. Look, they spent 2 years and over $30 million of taxpayer money lying, saying that there was proof of obstruction, that there was proof of collusion. There was none of it. In fact, the only collusion that happened where there were people, officials at the Department of Justice, at the FBI, even in the Obama administration, who were spying on the Trump campaign. And ultimately, when you look at some of the things that happened, they had a partisan agenda within the FBI to take down this president before he was elected. People aren't going to stand for this. If they want to pursue this road, it's going to be, again, at the peril of their majority.
Do you, Congressman, think that the Senate Intel Committee, as others have said, should subpoena Mueller to testify before them? He pronounced he's not talking. Like, I mean, I don't know how he can say that, but he did pronounce that today, definitively. But should Republicans in the Senate not take that as gospel and subpoena him to testify?
Well, Republicans in the Senate have been focused on doing their job, the job they were elected to do, to keep this country moving forward, to get this country, the economy back on track. The Democrats in the House have made it very clear they don't care about the economy. They don't care about the crisis at the border. Keep this in mind, Laura. The very committee that has jurisdiction over the crisis at the border that's real today, more than 4,000 people a day crossing our border illegally. That's the committee that's chaired by Jerry Nadler that's focused on this witch hunt, on focusing down rat holes to try to impeach the president, even when there's no proof and when there was no collusion.
All right, I want a 5-second answer, okay? Do the Democrats think impeachment is their only chance of beating Trump now?
No, but it's the only way that they can appease their radical left base.
Ah, okay, because Alan Lichtman's out there saying that might be the only way they can win because he might be projecting Trump wins in 2020. This is a Hail Mary. Congressman, thank you for joining us tonight.